you when I'm not supposed to, when I'm supposed to someone else. You're stuck in my head, and I can make you better when
I know I go back to you. All right, people, let's chat for a bit. I'm just on my way down south in England. I'm off to a little community gathering for a few days, just to be with like-minded people and, you know, share a bit of love. But I just wanted to kind of say thanks for all the support and the following that we get on this channel. It means a lot to me and Luke. We've just hit a good milestone, which is 3,000 subscribers, and you know, I just wanted to speak about, well, I don't really know what I'm going to speak about. I'm just going to ramble for a bit because yeah, because I'm driving down south in the UK, and I thought I'd just give you some chat. I'm sure there's going to be some interesting information that comes out, I guess. But yeah, I think a lot of people don't realise the true power of nutritional balancing. They don't realise what it really is, and maybe I'll speak about that a little bit. I mean, I don't think even I totally understand the depth of this. I think you know, the more I do it, the more I realise how deep it is and how meaningful it is, and how truthful it is. It's really, really powerful. But a lot of people like myself will start the nutritional balancing program because they want to heal themselves, they want to feel better. And you realise after a while that there's a lot of difficulties healing, but there's a lot of truth and a lot of knowledge and a lot of eye-opening things that start to happen. And I guess what nutritional balancing program does is it puts a person on a path of development of this strange entity that no one's really heard of. And I guess all development is, you know, is the highest human potential. So, you know, the highest human potential is physically. So, you know, we've been created in a way where certain minerals should be in ratio with each other. And physically, if that's out of balance, if you've got chemicals and toxins and various different things, then you're not pure. You're not a pure human being. You're not living up to the purest of human potential physically. So that's one of the aims, is to remove these toxins and to remove these chemicals so that the body is in peak, is at its peak, is basically functioning how it was designed to function. Now, a really strange thing happens when you start to do that, is that you also start to align yourself with this other type of development, which is more of a maturing type of development, which is more based on integrity and based on truth. And not only was the human body made in a physical way to have certain balances between minerals and ratios and stuff, but there's also this more mental, spiritual aspect to a human being, which is based on some of the stuff that you read in the Bible, for example. And it's about living with integrity and living pure and living maturely, and these things are actually real. These are truths, just like, you know, the sky is blue, or the earth's made out of soil. Like, there's another truth, and the human being is basically designed to live in this integral form, this integral way, which is built on some beautiful things. And, you know, some of the things are the 7 virtues in the Bible, and, you know, you get the opposite of that, which is the 7 deadly sins, you know, lust and all these kind of different sinful things. And I know they probably sound weird to a lot of people. I mean, I was never really a religious person, and I suppose, you know, doing the nutrition balancing program doesn't make you religious anyway, but talking about this kind of stuff, I was very uncomfortable about it, or even learning about it, because I just felt uncomfortable about the whole idea of religion. And I've come to realise that, you know, religion's been twisted and changed, and it's not really at its core what it, you know, what it was designed to be at. Frankly, you know, there's this spiritual truth that doesn't need religion. It doesn't need anything. It comes from within. And I don't necessarily go to church or anything like that, but there's this inner voice, there's this inner truth that guides you along the path, and it doesn't need explaining necessarily. It doesn't need putting into language. You know, language is a very difficult thing sometimes to work with, because I think the English language doesn't do things justice a lot of the times. You know, the word love, for example, is, people don't understand what the true meaning of love is. You know, the term relationship, you know, is all mixed up. Our language doesn't really have this synergy like other languages does with the earth and religion. So, you know, sometimes you just got to feel within, and the truth comes out, and that truth matures a person. It wants you to become more integral. It wants you to balance out your life. It wants you to give to people. It wants you to love people unconditionally.
Traffic is getting worse. You will now arrive at 15:59.
Alright, maybe I'll talk a bit longer. And then spiritually something starts to unfold as well. You start to realise that we're not just made of flesh and bones. There seems to be this soul connection, this soul that lives within every creative thing, and this soul is here to learn and here to, you know, grow through challenges. And sometimes that helps you to understand some of the reasons why you have difficult times on the program and you have difficult challenges. It's because the soul wants to learn. By the way, I don't even know what I'm going to be saying in this video, so I'll probably be going off on loads of different tangents, but I just like to talk, and you know, whatever comes out will come out, and if you get something from it, you get something from it. So, but you know, there's this thing that Dr. Wilson calls about called the real self. I think I've got a book somewhere. I bought the book actually the other day, called The Real Self, and he talks about this universal curriculum. And you can find the universal curriculum in things like, what's it called? A Course in Miracles. Dr. Wilson got a lot of his information from it by the Shanti Christo Foundation. Some guy who supposedly channeled Jesus. And he talks about this universal curriculum that every soul will go through at one time in their life, and the Nutritional Balancing Program literally speeds that up, you know. And it's all about kind of things like everything is perfect. So it was interesting. I was I'm going off on a lot of tangents, aren't I? I was listening to a life after death experience. I really enjoy life after death experiences. I would recommend anyone would check them out. They've really helped me a lot to come to terms with some of the things that happen, you know, that's not physical. A lot of people that have life after death experiences will basically talk about the same things if you actually listen to them over and over again. And there's thousands of these near-death experiences, and it doesn't really matter whether you're a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Christian or an atheist. People basically have the same experience. So, like, basically, in a nutshell, what happens is that these people will die. And I always said to my friends, I don't trust the medical industry too much, but I trust when they know someone's dead. So they'll say, the medical industry will say, you know, these people have basically flatlined in their brain. There's no electricity running through the brain. And I think it's safe to say anyone, you know, if there's no electricity running through the brain, I mean, that's what the brain runs on, then it's practically dead. It's not forming images, you know, it's not conscious. But anyway, a lot of these people will say that their soul will leave the body and they will come back to life, and they will tell them what was happening in the theatre room. they'll tell them what was happening next door. You know, I once heard a story of a guy whereby he had a near-death experience, and one of the children in the ward next door was screaming, and as a soul he saw that the child had a small hip fracture, and then when he came back to life, he told the people, the doctors, he says, oh, the baby that's crying in there has got a hip fracture, and it turned out to be true. That's pretty intense. But anyway, a lot of people will go through the same experience where the soul will leave the body, they will see the body. And another interesting thing that people talk about is if they want to go somewhere, so let's say a person would want to visit their family in Australia, all they would have to do is think about that, and they would be instantly transported to the place that they was thinking about. And when they come back to life again, they can tell the people who was alive what they was doing when they went to travel and visit them. It's really bizarre. And then kind of what happens is that you'll see this kind of white light, this white tunnel, and you know, a lot of discarnate souls, you know, spirits, ghosts, and all that kind of stuff, are generally like souls that do not go into this white light. You hear a lot about it, you know, the tunnel of death, you know, light at the end of the tunnel, all that kind of stuff. I mean, this is referring to the white light that you see when you pass away. Some Evian. Evian's meant to be a really good mineral water, spring water in the UK. Yeah, so anyway, you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and a lot of souls that are scared sometimes of going into the light, they might think that they will die, or they might think that they go to hell, or they might feel so guilty about what they've done in their life that they don't want to go through the light because they know that they'll be judged or whatever. So they'll kind of hang around in the physical plane, and this is, you know, usually this is when you hear about ghosts and poltergeists and all this kind of stuff messing around. I believe it to be the truth, or I wouldn't be speaking about it. I don't really speak about esoteric stuff too much on this channel, but I find it extremely interesting, something to talk about. I mean, you know, again, I reiterate, you know, if these people are having these experiences, the doctors are saying that they're dead, I trust the fact that they're dead. You know, and the fact that all these people basically have the same experience, I mean, that's fascinating to me. So for the souls that go through the white tunnel, and what they'll say is they don't have a body, it's just consciousness, it's just a spark of light, it's the soul. But they can see everything, the colours become more intense, they don't have any of the fear. It's another part of the universal curriculum, is that only love is real and fear is not real, fear is fake. So anything that's not love, fear, anger, anxiousness, you know, resentfulness, none of that's real. So basically what happens is when you pass away, you don't feel any of these emotions because they're just not there. And you can kind of tune into this as well. So one of the things that's really good as you start to develop is that to understand that basically what we're wearing is a bit of a space suit, if you want to call it like that, just a vehicle, a flesh vehicle that we use for you know, 80, 90, 100 years, or hundreds of years, you know, depending on how you look at it. And you know, you pass away, but the soul lives on. But you can, when you meditate a lot and do the pushing down exercise and bring this energy downwards, bring the energy of love, I suppose, chi energy, you start to understand the difference between the soul, the heart, the brain, the gut, different levels of thinking. They're the same as the 7 chakras. And you can feel the soul. If you think, okay, I'm going to live as a soul, it doesn't have resentment. So I was just in a relationship. Well, I was in a relationship a few months back, and it was an interesting relationship, and I ended up breaking up, and I found out something that really hurt me, and it really damaged my ego. It was an ego death. Maybe some of you have heard about an ego death. So it really messed with my ego. I didn't like it, you know. And this is what happens to a lot of people that are in relationships. And when I finished, my ego wanted to get that person back, because I felt so bad. But people just run on this automatic ego, and that's how they live their life a lot of the time. But you can tune into your soul, and it's like, well, what does my soul want to do in this situation? And my soul just wanted to let go and wanted to do its own thing, and it wanted to grow a little bit and grow inside, and it didn't have any resentment, it didn't have any anger, it didn't have any of this. It was just all in my head that I was angry about and resentful. And it's just one way of moving through life, and if you can tune into that soul more and more and more and more and start living from that, it's a much better way of living. So anyway, the souls move through the white light, and what they all say is they experience this overwhelming sensation of love. You know, just total love, total bliss, no anger, no fear, no resentment, none of that, just absolute pure love. And they will often refer to this energy as God. And I've heard Muslim accounts of this, I've heard Buddhist accounts of this, that they all experience the same thing. You know, they might call it Buddha if you're a Buddhist, you know, or Allah if you're a Muslim. It's the same thing. And what they say is this just unconditional love. You know, it doesn't matter what you did in your life, how you acted, you know, if you murdered someone, if you did horrible things, this energy is totally forgiving, as if none of it ever happened, totally fine. Which obviously confuses a few Christians, because, you know, you hear about Judgment Day, and, you know, you kind of get brought up in an environment in the Western world where you fear God, and God's this kind of wrathful entity, and, you know, it's important to get over that, because it's not true. And then something really interesting happens, and again, you hear about this in everyday talk. So you hear about it, oh, my life flashed before my eyes. You know, you hear about that, you know, you hear about light at the end of the tunnel when you die, you hear about my life flashed before your eyes. This stuff is out there in everyday life, you know, these little terms, and it's important to pick up on these. Why is that in everyday language?
In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on A34.
So yeah, basically what happened, and a lot of these people will see ancestors, will see great grandmas, people that they've never even encountered before.
Keep right to stay on A34.
Some people meet Jesus. Actually, Jesus comes up quite a lot, but they get that same energy that they get of this God.
Continue on A34 for 28 miles.
So what happens is that they'll see their life in front of them flash before their eyes on this big kind of TV screen. I know it sounds fictional, but this is what everyone's saying. Thousands and thousands of these people, different countries, different languages. You know, why are they all saying the same thing? You know, it's interesting, and the brain's dead as well. So basically, what happens is they'll see their life flash before their eyes in an instant. And they'll see everything that they happened to them. But the most interesting bit is that what they say is that they saw all the times, what they took from it was, and what they learned from it was, they saw all the times that they gave to another person that was out of their own goodness and their own heart. It was out of pure love. You know, it might have just been grabbing a coffee for a homeless person. It might have just been smiling to someone who was having a bad day. You know, it might not have even triggered you, but that little thing made the other person's life so much better. From, you know, I might watch this video. I mean, you know, shout out to Lewis, who's passed away on this video. that I'll probably see this video now on the iMac screen. And hopefully this video has helped someone, because I am doing this out of love. I hope I am. I'm doing it because I've had issues in my life and I want to help other people do that. It doesn't come from any place of like selfishness or neediness or anything like that. It's just giving. So shout out to Lewis, who's now passed away and is watching this screen. So anyway, apparently this God, this light, this energy, this love, whatever it is that these people are experiencing, you know, I don't want you to think that Lewis is weird with all these weird theories. This is like truthful stuff. This is what people are talking about. Hundreds of thousands of cases. You know, check it out on YouTube, near-death experiences. There's a channel called NDE Accounts, which is good. There's also a book called Life After Life by Raymond Moody, which is also a really good, cool book. You should check that out. And this love doesn't care how much money you made. It doesn't care how well, you know, how many houses you had. It doesn't matter how many cars you had. It doesn't matter how successful you were in life. All that it cared about, all it was showing you was that what's most important is the small gestures of love. Now, here's where the judgment part comes in. When you hear about Judgment Day and all that kind of stuff, all these people that come back from these near-death experiences say, no one judges you, but you only judge yourself. And the reason why you judge yourself is because you don't only see all of the small loving things that you do to other people, but you also see all of the unloving things that you do to another person that makes the other person's own sense of love go down. So you might have said a nasty comment, you might have ignored someone, you might have turned your back when someone was trying to reach out to you, and and you see this and you judge yourself, and it makes you feel bad. In a way, I suppose you should transcend that on the physical plane, because everything's perfect, and you know, we're here to learn, and you know, you shouldn't feel guilty about any of that stuff. You should just ask for forgiveness and repent and move on with your life, because we're all imperfect humans. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be here. We're here to learn, we're here to develop, we're here to grow, and that's why it's important to have healing reactions. Well, not important, but that's what healing reactions does. I wouldn't have learned anything. I wouldn't have learned about love. I wouldn't have learned about compassion, more compassion. I wouldn't be as empathetic as what I am now. I wouldn't have learned about how to respect people. I wouldn't have learned about self-love. I wouldn't have learned any of that stuff. I wouldn't have done anything. You know, so get it out of your head that you know, you just want to feel good as quick as possible. You know, obviously we all want to feel good quickly, and that's, you know, you do feel much better when you begin the program, but you'll realize after time that the journey and the knowledge and the experience and the wisdom, you cannot build that overnight. And these healing reactions, these releasings of toxic metals, releasings of emotions, these experiences that the universe puts in front of you to learn something, these are the things that really matter. And you know, you're never going to get to a point where you say you're healed. You know, a lot of people turn around to me and say, oh Lewis, when was you healed? I don't really know what that word means anymore. You know, when did my eczema clear up? It cleared up after about 1.5 years. When did my EMF clear up? Maybe 2 years. When did my brain fog clear up? Well, it got improved, and it gets better and better and better. I mean, maybe I've got brain fog now. You know, maybe, I mean, obviously, I don't think I have, but maybe in 10 years' time, my brain will be so clear, I might look back on these times and think, man, I was completely not with it. You know, like, I'm on tangents here because I'm probably going off on tangents and not even completing the point that I started off at. You know, I think I was talking about the universal curriculum. But yeah, what was I talking about just then? What fascinated me a lot was when I was doing the program, and I just wanted to heal. I just wanted to be better, like everyone else does. But what I realised is that when I started feeling better, I realised that it wasn't just my physical health that I needed to fix or needed to learn about. I needed to learn about relationships. I needed to learn about the opposite sex. I needed to learn about nature. You know, I needed to learn about being humble. I needed to learn about arrogance. I needed to learn about all these things that just are part of health and happiness that you're not even aware of until you begin something like the Nutrition Balancing Program. And it just fascinates you every day. Not, you know, just how fascinates me how sick the body is and how sick I was. It fascinates me how there is a war. There's a war between good and evil on the planet. You know, like literally, like as you improve and as you heal, and as you realise certain things, you realise that we get fed a pack of lies. You know, we're eating like rubbish. And I don't mean that physically, like mentally, like, you know, like, why are we getting fed sugary foods when, you know, when you heal and you realise how the human body is so much more powerful than we think, it makes you question things. Why are we getting fed sugary drinks? Why is alcohol? I mean, alcohol is way worse than, like, you know, I don't recommend anyone taking ethnogens, which is plant medicine, which is plant drugs from plants like ayahuasca and San Paulo and all that kind of stuff. Like, why is that? Why are they like, you know, like grade 1 drugs when they perfectly synergize with the body? They're perfect. You know, you take DMT, dimethyltryptamine, which is the active ingredient in ayahuasca. You know, you see how that works. We get it inside our bodies. It's released from the pineal gland. Apparently, it's released when we're born and in deep REM sleep. Why is that? Interesting. But it's a class A drug. Strange, because what does it do? I mean, if you're going to take in DMT, and we don't recommend doing this on the program, by the way, but if you're going to be taking ayahuasca or DMT, I can assure you now, you're not going to be getting violent with anyone, because you are not even there, really. You are there inside. You're going through this beautiful spiritual process sometimes, a lot of the times, which teaches you about yourself. Why is that so bad? You know, but yet alcohol, which I've heard the old term for alcohol is to open you up. The word alcohol means to open you up to spirits. And again, why do we call, we've got spirits as well, which is the, you know, the neat versions of liquor. Why is alcohol so promoted? There's no limit on how much alcohol you can drink, yet it opens you up to spirits. It completely damages the bodies. It is way, way worse than things like marijuana, you know, DMT, psilocybin, you know, magic mushrooms, all that kind of stuff. You know, again, we don't recommend it, but you got to question these things. You know, smoking. What the hell does smoking does? I mean, you can kind of understand alcohol. You know, it makes, you know, it can, you know, it does something to the body. It does something. Cigarettes does absolutely nothing. Why is that? Why is that legal? You know, and a lot, you know, the taxation on cigarettes and stuff. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, it's still legal because they make money off it. Well, that's a ridiculous excuse for a start. you know. But I was in the hospital.
A303
My
exit.
hospital last week. My grandma had. My grandma had pneumonia. Anyway, I don't really know what that video was about. I'm sure it's probably got some interesting information in. It's just me rambling, really. I wanted to do a talk about, well, not do a talk, just do a quick video just thanking everyone for being a subscriber. You know, if you enjoy our channel, please subscribe and send it around, people. You know, me and Luke are just doing this to help. You know, if Nutritional Balancing has helped you, or you want to start the program, then feel free to email me or Luke. My name's Lewis. Email me lewis@deephealingspace.com or luke@deephealingspace.com.
In a quarter of a mile at the roundabout, take the second exit onto A30.
Also, if you want to, if you enjoy our videos, you want to make a donation, then you can do it at www.paypal.me/Lewis Rowlands. So that's everything, gang. I hope that you've gained something from that video. I know I started on one thing and I ended up on another thing. I didn't really plan it, but sometimes there's beauty in that. So cool. Catch you all later, and yeah, I love you all.
In 200 yards at the roundabout, take the second exit onto Stockbridge Road, West A30.